This is the Big O Show. 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 This.
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, cuttersedgepro.com does some amazing stuff, and there are the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that, the two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that, I gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them, they like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do, they play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden, she's the girl right here. She's a badass, that's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. Cuttersedgepro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in that corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go, so you can get some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
The
breaking into my house! Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV.
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, ready to go, ready to rock and roll. Hope you all are feeling well. Hope you all are doing good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I can't complain. It's a Monday. We're ready to rock. Oh, I forgot. I have not put up our YouTube chat board here. There we go. Now we can do that. I like it. All right, there we go. Because if not, I don't have the what's it called? The chat board up. If I don't have that up, then I can't see it. I can't see the questions. I can't see any comments. Can't respond to anything. Got a bunch of things to talk about today on the show. Had a good conversation with Ira Winderman a little while ago. That'll be posted sometime in the afternoon. And you'll want to hear my Damian Lillard explanation there with him. That's for sure. We let him have it. But anyway, you want to check that out. That'll be dropping at some point. I don't know when. The boss will tell you when. That's, it's Sean's in charge. How was your turkey day, Sean? Did you eat plenty of turkey? It was good? Eat plenty on Friday? I like it. All right. All right. I hope you all are doing well out there. Little Bitcoin action. Little Star Atlas. I love it. I was just going over some guy there. Oh, I'm a retired millionaire and I don't believe in Bitcoin. Of course, you're a retired millionaire probably, and you don't probably have to try anymore. I love the people that don't know jack shit about Bitcoin and they want to tell you about Bitcoin. Those are my favorite. The people that don't know anything about it and then they want to tell you about it. Those are the people that are fantastic. Those are my favorite people. Let's see what we got. Steve Chapman is in the house. I like it. Number 1. We got the Dolphins, number 1 in the division. Number 2 in the conference. The Ravens yesterday winning, ended up getting the number 1 spot. But with that Mickey Mouse offense, the beautiful thing about all of this is, years past, and we get this, right? You know how we've talked about how I tell you all the time as Dolphin fans, stop living in the past because this isn't the past anymore, right? And you see what's going on, right? And in the past, we've been always the fan base and the team in the last couple of decades that we need help, right? Like, oh, okay, they got to win, but they need this team to win and that team to lose. And the Dolphins don't need any of that anymore. They're in a position that all they've got to do is take care of business. The Ravens and that Mickey Mouse offense that they have, Dolphins should beat them. The Ravens are tough. They're a physical bunch. That's what you got to deal with. You got to deal with their physicality and their defense. Miami's dealt with that 2 years in a row. You know what I mean? So this is a different franchise, different team. I'm not worried about it. Stop living in the past. This is not a team that needs help. This is a team that can help itself on its way. Take care of business against the Ravens coming up. Finish off the Bills coming up. Finish them off. They might have another loss by the time you play them. Finish them off. That's what you need to do if you're the Miami Dolphins. You don't need any help this year at all. Just keep winning, dude. Just keep winning. Take care of business. You got all these winnable games coming up. You got the sorry-ass Commanders coming up. And then eventually you're going to end the season, and you've got the Ravens, which will be a nice defensive test. The Cowboys will be a nice defensive test. Actually, a better offensive test than the Ravens because, Lamar's little rinky-dink passing game ain't shit. But Dak, while I don't look at him as a clutch player, he's a better pure passer than Lamar. So, and they have more weapons. So I think you might get a better test there. But overall, the Dallas defense is the test. The Baltimore defense. Remember what I told you about the Jets defense? That was good this past weekend. And you did it with a whole bunch of backup offensive linemen. And we'll get to that also on the show. I mean, it's impressive what's going on with the Dolphins. It's all up to them now. Okay? I've got my pad in Vegas. They've got the team to get to the Super Bowl. They've got the team to win the Super Bowl. But they've got to do it now. Doesn't matter what I think. What I think doesn't matter a damn bit. Just because I love the front office, love this coaching staff, love the quarterback and the talent on this team, I think they've got everything to win the Super Bowl. I think they can beat anybody out there, but they've got to go do it. I think I believe they could beat Kansas City and Philadelphia and Buffalo, but they didn't. But they've got everything in front of them. Everything is in front of them. All they've got to do now is cross that threshold. That's it. It's up to them. But they don't lack anything. They don't need help from anybody. That's not this team anymore. It's just now up to them to take that next step in the maturation process of saying, we have arrived. We are a elite caliber team that can challenge for the Super Bowl. It's all up to the Dolphins now. Doesn't matter what you and I think anymore. Okay? I can like whatever I like. I can think whatever I can think about them and say that, hey, they can be elite. They can win it all. Okay? But you still have to go do it. And that's what they have to prove to us for the next couple of weeks. And they don't need any help at all. I don't sit there. I don't care. Now, do I laugh and enjoy the demise of Bill Belichick? Oh, God, yes. Oh, God, yes. yes. Watching the Bills choke again in overtime, I enjoy the hell out of that. But it's not because I need it for the Dolphins. The Dolphins can take care of business on their own. They're big boys and big girls out there, too, because they've got some women working in the organization, right? Not playing on the field, but okay. So there's that whole building. They can get it done. It's just up to them now. And that's the exciting part about what's coming up. It's all on them. They need no help. They don't need to look anywhere else. You take care of your business, and everything will be fine. Just like Welton Rayom, they will take care of business for you, man. Call my guys, Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom, 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. And listen, maybe you don't know if you have a case. You live in a townhouse, live in a condo, had some water damage, and that can happen at any time. It's not just, hurricane season. We could get hit like we just did a week ago where we were pounded by rain. And I'm sure some houses out there in South Florida, some condos, some townhouses ended up suffering some kind of water damage. Maybe it's from your neighbor and it seeped into your house. Maybe a busted water pipe. And then you're wondering, do I have a case? Well, you got to call Jeff. Call Dan and Jeff right now. Call Jeff Welt. 954-966-4646. The consultation's completely free. You're going to love these guys, man. They did it for us. They can do it for you. And you just explain the situation, and then they'll tell you if you have a case or not. They've been at this for a long time, folks. 954-966-4646. Offices are in Hollywood, but they also have another office in the Keys. So save that number. Maybe you don't need it now. Maybe you need it a month from now. Maybe you need it a year from now. But at least you have it there. 954-966-4646 for Welt and Rayom, and tell them that Big O sent you. All right. What do we got here on the chat board? Chapman is in first. The defense is coming on. All we need is the offense to tighten things up, and the Dolphins will be in great shape. 22 was tuned to 23 title. Yes, 22 was tune up. 23 was the title. That's it. We have the number one offense, number one passing, number two rushing, number 7 on defense going into week 13. Pretty good. Damn right. Brooklyn Rob says, good morning, Big O and Sean. Nothing better than watching Josh Allen and Justin Herbert choke. Yeah, that was awesome. By the way, on that Justin Herbert last sack to end the game last night, that was so Tannehill-ish. He takes the snap, and immediately the rusher's coming at you. But he has athleticism. He's not Tom Brady or Drew Bledsoe or, some kind of Joe Flacco that just signed, He's not like some big stiff that can't move at all. He can run. And I'm watching that play, and I'm like, and I get that he didn't have a lot of time, but he had plenty of time to see with his periphery vision, the guy coming. Why didn't he run the other way? He stayed there with the guy closing in on him. And I get it that you want to throw it in the face of the blitz because that's where probably something's open. But the problem is you got to kind of have awareness that you don't have a chance. Your only chance is to try to extend the play by running away and opposite. Use that athleticism you have. And to me, that moment there with Herbert, this is just me. Okay, you guys can look at it however you want, but that's where I see that he is a wuss, dude. And he just kind of folded the tent right there and, tried to do the impossible instead of trying to do something else to make something happen out of that. You know what I mean? Because the only way you can throw in the face of the blitz is when you pick it up right away. Because you're throwing it already on the snap because you read it right away. This, you're seeing the blitz. It's too late at that point. Why not dart to the right? I didn't understand that part. I rewinded and looked at it twice, and I said, well, why didn't you use your legs there at that moment to try to see if you can make something out of nothing? Maybe you can't, but you didn't even try. So it was just one of those where he is super gifted. I will never, ever doubt that about Justin Herbert. But there's something missing there with that kid. And it's always been like that for me when I watched him at Oregon. And it just, there's that it factor is really not there. The problem is that people get wowed by his pure physical ability. But that doesn't necessarily equate to that it factor. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. There's a difference it factor. And I think some of you out there confused it. By the way, this happened with some of you out there with Zach Wilson after his workout. You had people talking about him like the second coming, and it's like, yo, dude, that was a workout. How come you didn't feel like that when he was playing games at BYU? Like, you watch Caleb Williams, you get excited about Caleb Williams. You get excited about May. You watch even Shedeur Sanders and his accuracy. Personally, for me, I get excited about that because I'm like, whoa, this kid's got some accuracy to his ass. And to me, that's half the ball game there, dude. If you can be accurate and have anticipatory skills and stuff, and Shedeur has some of that, you're like, holy shit, it's just that I don't. Everybody gets, the people that wow by him, they're wowed by his pure ability, but they never really. This is what you need to do. Okay, this is where I have fun with Justin Herbert fans. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what I do sometimes with Democrats or Republicans or MAGAs, right? They get all excited about their candidates, and then I corner them and tell me, so tell me about your guys. So what do you think about it? So about it, this, that. And they're like, and they get all small because then I show them the reality of it. And then I like seeing them lie to themselves. But just ask the Justin Herbert fans. Hey, dude, so he's so good. Give me those games that he was so phenomenal that he brought them back and they're so memorable. Which are those games, dude? And you won't hear them say anything because you can only hear them ever say, well, he made this throw or he made this one play, but they'll never talk about a game because they rarely exist with the kid. And that's where they kind of mix pure ability, which it's oozing out of him. Oozing. Okay? The Lord blessed him with yesterday when he took off and ran for like 30 yards. 35. He did that effortlessly. He runs like a deer, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he's got a rifle of an arm. I'll never deny the talent. Very few people have Justin Herbert's talent. But talk about the player. And then tell me about these memorable games that and you'll struggle to remember anything from him. And that's the issue with him. Hookup Joe is in the house. Jamie Zorria in San Jose, Brian Walters, Omar Lopez, Kyle Cockrell, Alexis Valenzuela, Tim Eason, One-Eyed Jack, with the Bills losing again, this time for Finns to take care of business and lock up the division in the next 3 weeks. Let's go. Steven Gonzalez is in. Boss B, Sam I Am, Shaq Lawson is so brave and stupid. If I were that fan, I would already have a doctor and a lawyer lined up. They probably do already. That was stupid by the Bills, but that, again, loving the demise of the Bills. For those idiots to walk over to the fans, just stupid. Just so stupid. Tim Eason is in, Lenny Pena. We're taking the division. Hell yeah. Lisa Rose, Clee Torres, Jay Gelfin is in. Excited about the improvements in both our football teams. One, I'm still not excited on the UM side. I'm not there, Jay. Sorry, I'm not there with you. Mario doesn't get me excited until he shows me he can actually coach. Although I will say I really was surprised with this week because I thought they would win. You know, I was pretty sure they'd pick up their 7th win. I thought it would be an ugly, tight game. I even had fun and put money on BC because it was plus 9.5. I said, put a couple bucks just for fun. And they clearly lost by the 9.5. It didn't matter because I only put a couple bucks. I did it for fun. But I was really happy that they dominated BC. But while, you know, improvements are there on talent and some stats, Mario's coaching is still not something I trust. And that's my problem. So I can't get excited until I can trust Mario Cristobal coaching. And I don't trust him coaching at all. That's the bad part. Gordon Shumway, Art Carrillo, Lenny Pena, Nico Jones, Giovanni Castelloni, Ray Sosa, Drago, Josh Greenwell, Tony Masker, Todd A.O. Dare I say it? I think I will. We are about to be AFC East champs for the first time since 2008. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Here's and so many of you just repeat what somebody else says. Well, we were 8-3 last year and the wheels fell off. Have you heard somebody say that already to you? Right? Come on, man. Can we stop with that? Last year, they were completely injury riddled. They had no secondary. Okay. Everything was in shambles at that point on defense. So it wasn't an easy road for them at that moment. They have some injuries, but they're not as injury riddled, and they're in much better shape than they were last year. Okay. And their quarterback is healthy, something that also hurt them last year. Everything's completely different. And you have Vic Fangio, and his defense is now settled in overall. And even with the Phillips injury, with AVG and Agba, you got good depth there. Again, this front office has done an excellent job. Stop it already. This is a different 8-3. Anyway, it's just some of you want to beat yourselves up for, I don't know why, dude. I have no idea. Josh Greenwell. No, this is a Chambers jersey. Chris Chambers jersey. Brian Landis, P. Crown Vic, Ian Baller. Dang it, Herbert. We needed you to win. Shaking my head. That's too much to ask for. Ian Baller, you didn't need him to win. Did you just listen to me? We're not that team anymore, dude. Don't you play Baltimore? Haven't you beaten them the last 2 years? Beat them again. I don't want to be that fan base anymore that you need help. This team's good enough to continue to win. Take care of business. That you didn't need the Chargers to win, dude. Okay? Not at all. I'm glad that the Baltimore Ravens won. I want them to have that record when Miami takes care of them. That makes it a whole lot better, bro. Whole lot. You know, all this stuff came up the last 25, 30 years. That's all from this new wave of the Dolphins being a shitty franchise, and then the fan base that you've all been programmed to think that everything's going to end terrible, programmed to think that we can't win, programmed to think that we can't enjoy good things, programmed to think that you only need help. None of that shit happened when we were young. I hate to play the old man game, but we weren't worried about help with Shula. We weren't worried about, we need that team to help us. Screw that, bro. Dolphins took care of business on their own. You won games. I'm sure Kansas City fans and Eagles fans, they don't sit there going, oh, my God, we need this help and that help. And get the hell out of here. You take care of business, and the rest, screw it. You don't have to worry about it. So I'm glad. I'm opposite of you, dude. I'm glad the Ravens won. Okay? And I hope they keep winning until they play Miami. And they're one game ahead of Miami when they play them. And then when Miami beats their ass, and now they're tied, they own the tiebreaker on them too. Okay? I'd rather earn it for my team. I don't need and I don't want help. I don't want to be that franchise anymore. I don't want to be that fan base anymore. But I get it. You've been programmed. Eddie Lepp, 90 miles from Cuba. Think Blue Dodgers. Lenny Pena, man of 1,005 holds. Eric Storm. B. McD. Humble legend. Yeah, they fired Frank Reich today. Right now. Giovanni says Jags are number 2, I think. They are hanging on tough too. Dogfight for that number 1 spot with KC still being KC. Fun watching the Bills last night. Hate the Eagles, but loved them last night. Loving every minute of it, says B. McB. Greetings from Hialeah, says Walter. Beer Noob says, I'm here, Big O. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I spent the weekend in New York City, and all I saw was depressed Jets fans. That's awesome. I feel bad for the athletes, says Karoon, that make a mistake at the end of the game, and then the cameraman keeps zooming into them, looking upset and defeated. They keep doing it to the Bills wide receivers that ran the wrong route. Montour and X came back to the Cats, and they changed the dynamic of the team. Looked toothless. Hopefully adjust and get back into the groove. Yeah, they got their asses kicked the other night. What was it, 3-0? Yes, Frank Reich got fired, Spooky. Yes. Wasn't it the owner that wanted the quarterback? It's interesting, right? I think that's how it went. Let's see. With Jalen out, AVG and Ogba got this. Yes. We talked about it on Friday after the game, and we'll get a little bit more into it today. Resolute Graphics, Hunter Butler, VLKV, Humble Legend, Sweet Baby Ray in. Says, good morning, Big O and Sean. Dolphins leading AFC East going into December. When was the last time we were in this position? I don't remember. Probably that year of the silly Wildcat. They were probably in that position. But again, That wasn't real. Like I said that year, and people got pissed at me. There was nothing really to build on. This is real, what's going on here. Let's see. El Jibarro is in. Ray says, I never trusted Herbert and the Chargers. They were going to tie the game when they were only down by 3. Yeah, it's crazy. Kyle says, I think O-line is somewhat overrated. People underestimate how fast Tua is getting the ball out. It really hides how mediocre the O-line is currently. It shows his run blocking. The O-line is not overrated. And people underestimate how fast Tua getting the ball out. It really hides how mediocre the O-line is currently. Actually, somebody said that to me yesterday, Kyle, and let me tell you why I think the way you're thinking is totally wrong. Okay? And for those of you out there that want to downplay what's gone on for this season, and by the way, this past week, you were playing one of the best defensive fronts with a crap ton of backups. Cotton and Liam Eichenberg and Keon Smith, and they all held up. All of them held up. I'm not sure if you guys know this. Okay? Let me see. Let me steal I think it was Joe Shad that put it out there. And then I retweeted it. He tweeted out the stats from PFF for the offensive line. And the stats against the Jets were pretty awesome. Let me see if I can find it for you guys here. Hold on. Got to look for it here. I am sorry for that. I just want to find it. Probably should have saved it. Here it goes. All right, so PFF on Friday put out the stats. Liam Eichenberg, 70 snaps, 0 pressures. Lester Cotton, 70 snaps, 0 pressures. Keon Smith came in after the injury, 21 snaps, 0 pressures. Kendall Lamb, 8 snaps, 0 pressures. Connor Williams, 70 snaps, 1 pressure. Austin Jackson, 62 snaps, 1 pressure. Teron Armstead, 49 snaps, 1 pressure. Okay? That's hundreds of snaps and 3 pressures. Now, let me explain, Kyle, where you're wrong. Anybody remember year 1 with Tua? Why don't you go back and watch it? Why don't you go back and watch Tua getting pressured, Kyle, and others, as he's handing off the ball? We even talked about it. Did we not, Sean? Did we not talk about how Tua is being pressured, handing off the ball? Not trying to pass. No. Taking the snap from under center and turning around to hand it off, and there's a defender right on his hip already. I'm not sure if you guys remember Tua running for his life all over the place. So he's not running ever for his life anymore. He takes the snap or the shotgun snap, and he stands there for his 2 seconds, and he makes a decision. So, yes, Tua helps the line, but make no mistake, the line's doing their job. And to take that credit away from them is not fair when you look at the disaster that was going on. earlier in his career. And by the way, we were the only platform out of all media, writers, probably TV. Can't say because I don't watch all the TV people, so I don't know all the stuff that they're saying. But I don't think anybody pretty much in town, media-wise, okay? I'm not talking about fans and fan sites and all that stuff because that's not what it's all about here. I kept telling you guys that it had nothing to do with Tua, it had everything to do that was around him. And I would argue with several of our insiders about that because they would pick on Tua. And now you see the environment is completely different. And now Tua's thriving. And so to me, it led me to something when I saw this now. And this is the other thing where, Kyle, this is completely different. And this is why I tell you, you guys need to start to appreciate what's going on. We've been talking about this for several weeks now. Sean, I don't know, but there was a media member in town saying that, that maybe people need to kind of, what was that word? When are they going to give, like, the Dolphins the benefit of the doubt for the offensive line? I don't know. Somebody was talking about that the last couple of weeks, right? So you're watching Lester Cotton. You're watching Keon Smith come in and play well. Liam Eichenberg, 70 snaps, 0 pressures against the Jets. While we all hate the Jets, their defense is championship caliber, dude. That's a badass defense that they run. That's a really difficult defense to play against. Everybody struggles against that defense. The Eagles lost to that defense. Okay? I mean, give the offensive line credit. And let me tell you something. Liam Eichenberg, okay? Liam Eichenberg deserves some love. He deserves credit. And more importantly, he deserves our patience. Oh, get out of here. It's been 4 years. No, it's not. It's been 1. 1 year. Because now I'm convinced that the first 2 years were complete garbage. It didn't help Austin Jackson out, and it didn't help Liam Eichenberg out. And last year, both were injured. And all of a sudden, Austin Jackson's found his way. And look at Liam Eichenberg. That guy's been moved around all over the place, and he settled in at center, and then is helping you out in other positions now, too. Liam Eichenberg's becoming a better player. And maybe it's because Mike McDaniel, Frank Smith, and Butch Berry, clearly Butch Berry has added something. Now they've got the people to teach these guys. First couple of years were a waste. If I tell you right now, there's over 400 people right now on the chat board. Be honest now, okay? If I tell you we're giving Liam Eichenberg and Austin Jackson, Frank Smith, Mike McDaniel, and Butch Berry from their rookie year, do we go through the same mess? Of course not. Right? Go ahead, answer on the chat board. Would Liam Eichenberg and Austin Jackson be the same players 4 years ago if we started with these guys? I say no. I say both guys, one of them might have been, or two, maybe making Pro Bowls by their 4th year with these guys. That's how screwed up it is. Because we're watching Liam turn the corner. And Austin already turned the corner. So maybe all the picks were going to be hits. It's just you didn't have the right coaches in place to actually teach these guys and bring them along. If we're fair, right? If we're going to be honest with ourselves, those guys are growing because of the people around them now. And they're all better. And there's a reason why everybody's better. It's not just a Liam Eichenberg thing. It's a Keon Smith thing. It's a Cotton thing. It's a Robert Jones thing. It's a Kendall Lamb thing. It's what did we say? Give them the benefit of the doubt. When are we going to get the benefit of the doubt? Did anybody get that shit for you guys? No, right? No, I don't. No, right? Not at all. That's why what we provide on this platform, when it comes to insight on the Dolphins, it's unequaled. No one comes close. We guide you through it the right way. By the way, the Miami Dolphins won. They beat the Jets' ass. So, Sean Stanley, why don't you give me and the phone and the fans out there a little bit of a Perdomo cigar? Kick it. There we go. I love how it went on live first, then when it went on with us. It's kind of like odd. But we'll take it.
I think you may have a delay because it fired off fine on my end. I don't know.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, try the 30th anniversary, by the way. Rich Cigar, 20th, the 10th anniversary, the Immenso 70, the Double Age 12-year vintage. I love the Sun-Grown and the Maduro. It is absolutely amazing. Have you been to the Perdomo factory at 5150 Northwest 167th Street in Miami Gardens? Man, go out there, and they've got all kinds of paraphernalia too. So if you want to buy a Perdomo hat, cigar lighter, they've got these absolute killer Perdomo cutters. Really cool. I saw it the other day when I was there. Fantastic. And by the way, Nick Jr. usually are hanging around. You can take pictures with the stars while you're there. Got a pool table, 30-foot leather couch, big giant TV, just a beautiful lounge to hang out. And every Perdomo cigar out there you can try to on there. So check it out, 5150 Northwest 167th Street, perdomocigars.com. All right, what do we got here? We got some super chats. And remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin donation. Big O, was it Alan Poupart, the one arguing with you that before the season that Miami's not going to improve more than Buffalo will? If he's not a Dolphins fan to believe that, who right now? No, I don't. What I remember Alan saying on the show, which was silly, and I love Alan to death, but hey, man, we all say stuff that's silly, like, Teddy Bridgewater can do what Tua does, which I think is completely asinine. But what he did say, which was completely off, he said that this is, I quote, the Dolphins are a borderline playoff team. And those are the moments that I always lose it with Alan. And then I got to jam on him. Oh, you're cutting me off. No, I'm not cutting you off. I'm telling you, the hell are you talking about? Ridiculous shit like that. When they were a playoff team last year, when they were completely injury riddled, no quarterback and all, and they snuck into the playoffs. So you're going to tell me a much healthier Dolphins team with a quarterback is a borderline playoff team? That's letting Mike McDaniel off the hook. If the Dolphins would not have made the playoffs or barely whatever, Allen can never complain about that. He can never rip because in his eyes, they were a borderline playoff team. Not in my eyes. In my eyes, I was deciding between, 12 or 13 wins or something, So I was in another area completely than he was. But then again, that's kind of how it usually is with me and him. I'm in another place with Tua than he is. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But I do remember not exactly what you said there, Miami Breaker, but he did say on this show, and he's dead wrong, that Miami was a borderline playoff team. And that's ridiculous. Okay. Miami is a big-time playoff team, and Mike McDaniel better make the playoffs big time. Okay? No borderline, none of that shit. McDaniel does not get a break here on that. No. This is a loaded team. They have enough to win a Super Bowl. So McDaniel needs to do better in the big games, is what he needs to do. That's where I'm putting the team. Borderline playoff team. Give me a break. Justin Floyd, thank you so much for giving Liam credit. He played 3 positions his rookie year. He's been balling for us in multiple positions. Patience is key. Not only that, it's not only just patience. It's having the right people around you, dude. He didn't have the right people around him. And last year, him and Austin were completely injured. So the guys didn't get to work with them. All of a sudden now, both guys are thriving because they've got different people. That tells me what the problem was. These guys were never the problem. They just never had the proper coaching. That was it. The proper scheme. Nothing. They didn't have anything around them to help them succeed. They had everything to set them up for failure. Frankie Fresco is in the house. Welcome me back, CM Punk, to WWE. Sean is happy. Oh, Sean is extremely happy. He loves CM Punk. Big O, hear me out. I'm pretty sure you said it during the Flow era too, that there's no way the line is this bad. And oh yeah, I said it. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did say that there was no way all of this was this bad because the coaching was terrible. And that was for Tua and everything else. And we're now watching Liam Eichenberg play really good football at multiple positions. So his confidence is growing. He's getting, back to where he maybe was coming out of Notre Dame. And you might end up it's kind of screwed up. Let's put a couple things in the same category. Liam Eichenberg and Jalen Phillips. I was talking about this on Friday in the postgame show. Jalen Phillips has not turned the corner. He's had his moments, but he hasn't put a complete season together where he's put, 10, 12 sacks. He hasn't put multiple seasons together of 10, 12, 14 sacks, whatever, and turned the corner as a pass rusher and healthy on the field. He's had some injuries. He had an injury history before, also in college, especially at UCLA, almost quit football. And then now you've got Liam Eichenberg. And his 4 years have been turmoil, right? Bad coaching, inconsistencies, all kinds of position switches, injuries last year. And now he's played better, but he's moved around a little bit. Guess what neither guy has earned? Neither guy has earned a major contract. Jalen Phillips and his agent can't come to Miami and say, well, our guy has shown flashes and, he's worthy of a $25 million contract, $20 million. You can't pay him that, right? Because Jalen Phillips has to kind of start to put multiple seasons together and stay healthy, which we all know he has the ability, but he really hasn't put it together yet. And then, and for whatever reason, and the same thing for Liam Eichenberg. Okay? maybe a lot of it is out of his control. The first couple years, bad coaching, this, that. Last year, injuries. A lot of it out of his control for Liam Eichenberg. But the difference for both guys is if you're the front office, you're not forced to give them a multi-year big-time contract. So you might get a bit of a bargain now. Well, you're definitely going to get a bargain for sure with Liam Eichenberg, and you're going to get somewhat of a bargain also with Jalen Phillips because he can't ask for that kind of frontline money. He hasn't stayed healthy, and we still see the potential, but he hasn't really put it all together yet in consecutive seasons. It's interesting. So that may end up becoming a blessing for the Dolphins, where you're going to get him cheaper. Maybe with Jalen Phillips, you put some more incentives to kind of appease him a little bit. But it's interesting how those situations that some of it was out of their control, some of it wasn't, but either way, neither one has crossed the threshold that says franchise, starter, whatever, even though for sure Jalen Phillips has shown it, but hasn't proved it yet. It's an interesting dynamic. At the top of the hour, by the way, I will tell you why a lot of people in the media are misleading you about the salary cap and the Dolphins and the future. And I'll tell you why they're doing it also, okay? Because you're being misled out there. Big time. And again, this is the problem that happens when we talk about living in the past, and I think some of our media lives in the past too because they've been so beaten down with the past. And they don't let it go. And they don't realize that this is not the same front office. This is a much better coaching staff. Way better quarterback here. Obviously, the best quarterback you've ever had here since Marino. And this team is, my God, it's really good, dude. It's really good. It's loaded. Loaded. Absolutely loaded. Do you think we will roll the dice on Phillips? It paid off when we bet on X. The X thing's a little different. He's already proven at that point. I would not pay top dollar for Jalen Phillips because he hasn't proven to stay healthy and he hasn't proven to put together that nasty season that we're all hoping for. So I don't think you have to, this is going to be an interesting dynamic because so many of you complain about Chris Greer at times taking chances on injured players, and here we are again. So don't complain if you want him to take a chance on another injured player. Just saying. It's you can't have it both ways, yet so many of you want to have it both ways. We should 100% roll the dice on Phillips. He has gotten better at this flaws, aka run stopping. Okay. Injuries have haunted Phillips since college. The only one I heard with an honest reply on there was Dude 67. I don't want to be Chris Greer on that one. It's because it's so, see, most of us will never remember what most of you will say. So the same people that will say, oh, I'll take a chance on him, and then they give him a big contract and he blows out another knee or whatever, they're going to say, it's the same dude that comes back and says, I can't believe they gave him that money. Because nobody tracks what you say. So nobody knows that you waffled and played both sides of it. You'll know if I say something wrong, right? You'll know right away because you guys will rip into me right away. Well, you said this. We don't have you have a luxury that we don't have. It's not an easy situation. It really is not an easy situation re-signing Phillips. It depends on what they ask for, obviously. And if it's more incentive laden, I don't have a problem with it. Because, then he's got to reach them and, he's got to earn them. And if he earns them, then I have no problem. You're not going to have a problem with that. We're all not going to have a problem with that. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. What do we got going on? We started on a down in the market today, huh? About that. Dow Jones in the red, 53 points down. S&P down 5.5. NASDAQ barely down about a fifth of a point. Got that? All right. What else? Bitcoin, still Bitcoin strong, 36,800. Super strong. It is held incredibly strong. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Why don't we? And remember, if your company, your club, your school, your fantasy league, whatever, you guys need shirts or hats or uniforms or whatever it is, man, please call our friends at 3A Graphics in Hialeah. Alan Blanco is awesome. 786-618-1443. That's 786-618-1443. Custom printing and embroidery. Bears and Vikings tonight at 8 o'clock. 8:18 is what it's listed at. Vikings -3. The over and under is 44. Bears +130. Vikings -153. Tonight, Cats are back in action against the Senators, and the Panthers are favored by 1.5. The over and under is 6.5. Panthers -130 on the money line. Senators +110. The Heat are off tonight. Tomorrow, they are back in action, taking on Milwaukee. All right, 7:30 tip there against on TNT. And the Canes defeated BC 45-20 over the weekend. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. By the way, Dolphins open up as a 9-point favorite against Washington. The over and under is 49.5. +280 for the Dolphins on the money line. -355 for Washington on the money line. All right. Got that going on. NorCal says, I have a chalkboard full of Big O comments. I'm waiting to rip him on Homer Simpson. There we go. I will say this, Frankie. I didn't see it coming, but shout out to Triple H. He is doing a hell of a job, and I'm sure he won't waste this. Let's see. Yes, we saw Frank Reich is fired. But does it really matter for us, Frank Reich being fired? But the story for me is that Tepper is the one that wanted Bryce Young. And the problem is that Bryce Young doesn't look like half the player that CJ Stroud looks like. That's the problem. We shall see what happens there, but this David Tepper dude is kind of an interesting owner. He looks to me like he's too much of a meddler. That's what it looks like to me. Again, do you guys even give a shit about the Panthers or what happens there? Does anybody outside of the people in Charlotte really give a shit about the Panthers? I mean, the Panthers aren't necessarily a team that draws any kind of interest around the country. True Fin Fan says, seems like luck is finally on our side. 3-game lead in the AFC East, and it's the other teams that are falling apart while we separate. All we need to do is worry about us moving forward. Exactly. Let's move on as a different fan base and a different team, no longer dependent on others. Take care of your business and everything falls into place, man. Absolutely everything. Bryce Young will be out of the league in a few years. We shall see. We shall see. I was more of a CJ guy, but whatever. I would have taken CJ first, not Bryce. I just heard the new David Lee Roth song featuring John 5. Welp. I never thought I'd say this, but Yoko would actually make it sound better. Oh, why can't some people just quit? You know, Dougie Fresh, it's hard to quit doing what you love, dude. You know? You fight for it as much as you can. And obviously David Lee Roth was definitely born to be a performer, my lord. Anybody that watched David Lee Roth live, you talk about vaudeville, you talk about a dude that is a performer. That was David Lee Roth. Okay? Likeable or unlikable, obnoxious or whatever you want to call him, braggadocious or whatever it is, whatever adjective you want to use to describe him, I get it. But he's a performer at heart. Always was, always has been, always will be. And he's just one of those guys. It's, to use an even older reference, you could be George Burns, bro. And you're not going to stop cracking jokes and smoking cigars because that's your thing. You know? And you can't, Frankie Valli is still touring to this day, I think, or he just stopped touring just a couple months ago, or a year ago or whatever, and he's in his 80s. You know? We just lost, left my heart in San Francisco, Tony Bennett. And he was performing, Jesus Christ, to 90 or whatever he was, you know? When you have a passion for something, and I get where you're coming from, he can't do it anymore. He hasn't been able to do it for years. But it's what he loves. You know? What can I tell you? If he can get John 5 to do it with him, why not? By the way, John 5. What a cool effing dude, John 5. Okay? Really cool guy. That's he's super live. Not only is he a great guitarist, I've seen him live a couple of times. I saw him over at the Culture Room a couple years back. He was terrific. I didn't go see him with Motley Crue. I won't go see Motley Crue anymore because they're done. They've been done for years. They're stealing money now at this point. You're not even watching Motley. You haven't seen Motley Crue for years. Any of you that have gone the last couple of years, you paid for some fake act up there. You're not even seeing the real Motley Crue. But yeah, it's a love for it, man. Steve Montoya says, what kind of money you think Van Ginkel going to command? What do you think Greer's numbers is with him? Steven, let's see what happens the rest of the year. Because he's got more games and playoff games. And he is a clutch sumbitch. He finds ways to make plays, dude. It's amazing. I love Andrew. I mean, anybody that knows and you listen to the show, I've been an Andrew Van Ginkel fan from day one. I've always wanted to see him play more, and I'm glad that Fangs has kept him around. All right, let's take a quick break. Hour number 2, and we got to, and I'm sure Sean will make this a rant, but we need to straighten some shit out because I'm watching too many media members put the scare into Dolphins fans, and I get it. They need clicks, and they're working for a living, and the people above them want the drama and the sensationalism. But I'm going to tell you why I think most in the media are absolutely full of shit, okay? And I say it this way because Dolphin fans deserve good things. Good things are happening. And somehow or another, people need to always sell negativity in the middle of something good. And the reason that I am really kind of bothered by this is because I think it's completely off. And I think they're completely wrong. And I'm going to explain why. All these people talking about salary cap issues next year and all that. I'm going to tell you exactly why they are wrong. Our number 2 of the Big O Radio Show moves on.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield Home Security System guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
views expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Alrighty. Hour number 2 of the program. Hope you all are doing well out there and enjoying yourselves. Thank you. All right. Oh, man. All right. Good weekend. Good crypto weekend. Jesus. Man, that was good. That was good. I wonder if Alethea is making a second run now. Little Star Atlas making a run today, or yesterday, that is. Right now, it's looks like it's kind of calm right now in the markets, right? Let's see. We calm? Yes, we calm right now. Atlas is up almost 2%. 42,000th of a penny. It was down to 13,000th of a penny. So all the way up to 42. It was all the way up to 49 last night. Was on a tear. Illuvium, which we told you about, when it was all the way down to 38, 40, $42. It's up to 112 right now. It was, which is down because it was at $122, $24, I think, something like that. It's crazy. Illuvium was close to $2,000. It's gonna continue to climb. Gaming is exploding right now. Star Atlas is moving. Illuvium is moving. Gala is moving. Immutable X. A lot of the stuff that is tied to gaming is starting to move right now, and we haven't even started on this. The real bull run hasn't even started. This is kind of like there's like a little tickle before the true explosion. Okay, which is cool stuff. Rise Taylor, thank you for the love on the super chat. Says, I personally hope no excuses from fans or media about JP, Agba, and AVG are more than capable and would be starting pieces on a lot of teams. Yeah, no, it's the thing with Agba is, does he fit this scheme is the thing. It's not that he can't play. We all know that Agba can play, dude. It's just does he fit this scheme, Rise? That's really the key. All right, let's I want to air this out because I try to keep you guys level-headed, with the whole Dalvin Cook situation, right? I kept you guys level-headed. You had plenty of media members and people reporting that they were trying to trade for him, and I told you they're not going to trade for him. And they're going to pounce on him right away when he's released, and I told you they won't. We try to keep you level-headed, okay? We try to give you real information on what's actually going on with the Miami Dolphins, or sometimes the media will spin certain things, and we will then have to kind of straighten it out a little bit and tell you, no, that's not what's going on. The media was freaking out about Tua, and we were telling you, no, there's nothing wrong with Tua. It's flow, and he can't build a staff and those kind of things. So we kind of keep you level-headed here, right? So lately, the latest thing now, and it was started by Omar. I saw my man Barry also pick up on it, and others have picked up on it. And they're trying to, it's scare tactics. It's FUD, like what we like using in the investment world. Any of you that are in the stocks or in crypto, we have that word FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. FUD, right? And media specifically loves to spread FUD in anything. Life, politics, entertainment, sports, you name it. They love spreading FUD because FUD gets clicks. FUD gets people worried and concerned and debating and arguing and, all that kind of good stuff, right? So now the latest is we're in the middle of
a terrific season. Oh, well, they've got cap concerns coming up. First of all, it's a cap-driven league. Everyone has cap concerns. Every single year, no matter how good you are or how bad you are, everybody has cap decisions that they have to make. Okay? Now, the funny part is that they've got, Miami cutting a whole bunch of players and, oh my God, how they're going to pay this, that. Well, see, here's the problem with a lot of the media members that live in the past, a lot of you Dolphin fans that live in the past. Your buddy that tells you, oh, well, we were 8-3 last year and the wheels came. Well, the Dolphins, they always take this point and then they let me down. And the problem with all of those statements that every one of you are using when you talk about the Dolphins or you want to talk about the salary cap issues or anything else is that you are comparing apples and oranges. 8-3 last year and 8-3 this year is completely different because the team is much healthier and they have their quarterback and they have a defensive coordinator and their defense is completely healthy pretty much. Going into the stretch here, they are a completely different team. So there's no comparison. Why would you compare? And then, oh, well, the Dolphins always get me to this point and then they let me down. Okay, I remember that in 5 years ago and 10 years ago and 20 years ago. But I'm sorry, this coaching staff is way better than anything you've had here in the last 25 years. This front office is better than anything you've had here in 40 years. This quarterback is the best you've had since Marino. So I'm sorry, that doesn't fly. Which is kind of what I talked about when we started the show. That stuff just doesn't fly. Those arguments, those concerns, they don't fly. And you know what also doesn't fly? This bullshit about, oh, the Dolphins have salary cap issues. Let me explain to you something that has changed on this team. So who the hell is Kendall Lamb? We couldn't ever see a starting unit, much less backups. So now all of a sudden the Dolphins can find offensive linemen off the street. They're even developing the Keon Smith kid quietly. Nobody talks about it. We did. We talked about it in training camp that, hey, that Keon Smith kid kind of like. And he kind of ended up on the roster. Anyway, we kind of nailed the Brooks, the Julian Hill, what was the other one that was, what was the third guy that we nailed? We nailed all three of the young guys that they kept in Keon Smith. So these guys can find players. They can make trades like Jalen Ramsey for a third rounder. I can just go through the roster. Okay. And I know it hasn't worked out yet, but the Chase Claypool one could be a good one. The River Craycraft pickup 2 years ago obviously has proven to be a guy that really fits the system and what they're doing. Right? Then you start looking all over the place. They find a Zach Sealer out of absolutely nowhere to come help you. An Andrew Van Ginkel in the 5th round. They signed a David Long in the offseason. These are things that they continue to do. They drafted Fitzpatrick, and then they were forced to trade him because of Flo, but then they go and find Javon Holland. They find a Kader Kohu off the street. I mean, what I'm trying to tell you is this is a team that can draft. This is a team that can find undrafted free agents. This is a team that can find street free agents like a Kendall Lamb, like a Zach Sealer, like a Cotton, like a Robert Jones. They can find guys to help you out. Deshaun Elliott hasn't been a bad pickup as a free agent pickup overall for them. This continues to happen all over the place. And maybe Julian Hill does to develop into something. Chris Brooks has shown us something, right? I really like Chris Brooks, actually. So they find people all over the place. Now, nobody mentions this in the media, but we'll do this here. Guess what's going to start now? Because you're not used to this, Dolphin fans. But guess what? Guess what's going to start over the next couple of years now? The cycle. The cycle. Yeah. The cycle of compensatory picks. Because, you know, the media likes to spin it like you're not going to be able to sign everybody. And they make it sound terrible. And yeah, it kind of is. But when you know how to draft and you know how to find street free agents and you know how to find unrestricted free agents and you know how to make trades, you know how to fill holes. And so now you're going to start, and as long as, you know, your stupid ass owner doesn't go out and go get Tom Brady again and gets busted, but as long as our owners aren't doing stupid things costing them picks, you are now going to start having your allotment of picks and compensatory picks. So you're going to give a front office that knows how to draft more picks. Yeah, so you can't sign them all, but you're going to start getting compensatory picks for some of these guys that you don't sign. So if Christian Wilkins, you don't agree with him to a new deal and he goes somewhere else, here comes a compensatory pick, which will be another weapon for them to reload. So it's really easy for somebody to say that you're going to have cap issues, but then they don't follow up by saying, you know, even if you have some decisions to make, the Dolphins have proven that this example, all these examples I've given, I don't need to repeat them again, but they know how to find other players. They know how to draft now, Dolphin fans, something that they didn't know how to do in the past. And that's why they never had a compensatory pick cycle, because they didn't know how to draft. They weren't hitting on picks. And the few that they would hit, they wouldn't even keep them. So now you're going to be able to keep the ones you want. You're going to unfortunately let some go, but you're also going to start getting a compensatory pick for some of these players, which will then be the extra addition. Next year, I told you, X is probably gone. Ogbach could be probably gone next year. You know, you're going to move on from players. You're going to be able to open up salary slots. And like I told you, when you do sign Tua, his first year won't be big money either. And he's going to play on his 5th year next year. So you're going to buy yourself a couple of more years, which is not what the media tells you, because it's not sexy. It's sexy to make you want to worry. It's sexy for you to be concerned. It's not sexy for you to be happy. The media doesn't want to put out feel-good stories all the time because they're boring. They don't get clicks. The DUI gets clicks. The guy that ran over somebody gets clicks. The fight gets clicks. This guy getting fired gets clicks. The trade gets clicks. But the guy that visited the hospital, no clicks. The fact that everything is beautiful, very few clicks. That's kind of the way you guys are wired, and that's why they work that way. I don't work that way because I work for myself. I don't care. I care about you guys. So I'd rather just tell you the truth, and I'll be able to work you up plenty of times. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll work you up and tell you that Dalvin Cook is not going to be traded for when everybody else is. I'll get you worked up. Don't worry about it. I'll get you worked up when I tell you that Tua is going to be a baller, when everybody's telling you he sucks and he can't play, all that. I'll work you out. I'll work you up when I tell you that Flo's going to get fired in the middle of a winning streak. Don't worry about it. I'll get you worked up, but I'll get you worked up when it's actually supposed to get you worked up. I'm not going to do this fake bullshit where I'm trying to create drama where there is no drama. And by the way, what you should be focused in on now, if you're the media, instead of worrying and writing about bullshit that may not happen down the line, why don't you worry about all the good stories that are going on now? Why don't you write more about Mike McDaniel, and why don't you write more about Liam Eichenberg, how he's fought through everything? You know, there's a lot of good stories. David Long, why don't you write more about that guy? That guy's balling out. Why don't you write more about Andrew Van Ginkel now and the opportunity that he has, which is an opportunity of a lifetime? Why don't you write about Emmanuel Ogbah, who's been a pro? Okay, well, he's getting paid, but a lot of guys get paid and then they complain because they're not playing, and he's been a pro. And now he's going to have an opportunity. Why don't you write about that? Why don't you write that he actually picked up a sack and a half coming off the bench? There's a lot of great stories. Why don't you write about Chris Brooks? You know what I mean? Why don't you write about all the moves that the front office has made? Why don't you write about how the culture has completely changed? Why don't you write about that Chris Greer said that the dysfunction was gone, and a couple years later, he's right. Dysfunction's gone. Not in Buffalo, not with the Jets, not with the Patriots, but it is with the Dolphins. There's like a lot of stuff to write about, but you want to focus in on talking about some bullshit, about some cap issues that may not even exist because you have a great front office. So even if they might be a little limited in money, they can still find a Chris Brooks and a Zach Sealer, and they can draft an Andrew Van Ginkel in the 5th round, and they can, you know what I mean? And maybe this Cameron Good kid now, because Andrew Van Ginkel's got to play outside, and he played a little bit on Friday, maybe Cameron Good, who's stuck around here for 2 years, maybe there's a reason why he's stuck around. Maybe there's a reason why Vic Fangio saw him and now has kept him around. I don't know. And there's another guy. What if Cameron Good becomes a player and that's another guy you found at the back end of the draft? Does the media tell you this? Shouldn't they write that story like, hey, Dolphins, you may not have to worry about cap issues because they know how to draft, because they can find undrafted, because they can find unrestricted free agents, because they can trade and they can get the best of these trades. Why don't they write it that way? Because it doesn't sell. That's why. Logic doesn't sell. Happiness doesn't sell. Positive doesn't sell. Negative sells. So let's talk about a salary cap issue that may not even exist. So that's my 2 cents. I think it's absolute crap what some of the people are spewing out there about this team. Okay? Let's see. True Fin Fan. Man, I'm glad we have you, my brother. Grateful. Thank you, True Fin Fan. I appreciate you. Very nice. And I am grateful to have all of you. Sean and myself are incredibly grateful to have all of you. It's fun how what is it? Also, the stud vet on a 1-year deal cycle is coming. Yes, that's right, Alf. That's a great point on your part. That when you have the good teams, you'll have those guys that'll want to join you because they want to try to win. You're right. You're right. You're right. And while, people are complaining, Hard Knocks because of what happened with Joe Philbin, that wasn't me. Because, listen, dude, I'll tell you, I'll rip into Joe Philbin and Cam Cameron and all that. I did that when they were here. But I'm not doing that to Mike McDaniel. This isn't Joe Philbin. Chris Greer and company and Mackenzie and Allen. This isn't Jeff Ireland and company. I love that you're on Hard Knocks. Can't wait for tomorrow. I think it's a great sell job for our team. You know what I mean? It's just, it's funny how things are spun around. You know what I mean? I'm just glad that we are able to kind of air this stuff out and hopefully put some of you out there at ease and you don't fall for all this stuff because FUD is what sells, man. FUD is what sells. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Big O Media always hates Miami regardless of the sport. What platform do you recommend for crypto? 305 for life. Crypto.com works well for me. You know, obviously Binance has its issues, although it's going to continue, but right now you don't want to use that. But crypto.com and Coinbase, you should be able to use that. But remember, those platforms are only to buy the crypto. You then need to move it off to a Trezor, Model T, or a Tangem wallet. Okay? So get one of those kind of wallets. You need to have a cold storage wallet so you can move it over, my brother. So you buy and then move. Don't ever keep your stuff there on exchanges. You know, if you want to accumulate some crypto for a week or a month and then, you know, unload it, okay, but do not keep your crypto on exchanges for a long time. It's very dangerous. That's why you've got to have a wallet. So make sure you get one. Okay? Let's see. Austin Jackson has turned into a dog. Yes, he has. Yes, he has. And he got street cred on Friday. Big O, why doesn't McDaniel ever run on 3rd and 1? It's not even that he doesn't run enough. It's that he literally never runs. I know it's I don't get it. I don't get it. And what am I going to tell you, dude? You know, I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. It makes no sense. Those are little things that he's got to get better at. And it's kind of frustrating that the problems continue. You know? That's the thing. That's the real bitch, is that these problems continue. And he just, I don't know how he continues to make the same mistake. It makes no sense to me. You know? Just like if you've got landscaping issues, you want to take your home, you want to take your HOA, your business to the next level, call my friends right there. Call William Quigley and the great people at Cutter's Edge Pro. They do it all, folks. I'm telling you, they can landscape, outdoor lighting, irrigation, artificial grass. They do it all, baby. And, of course, they are your total landscape solution. Lawns, landscape maintenance, too. So some of you out there, you may have some landscaping going on, but you're not necessarily happy with it, and that's because it's hard to maintain. It's not an easy thing. Folks at Cutter's Edge Pro, they can keep everything up for you, improve it, take it to another level. And remember, when you add landscaping, you also improve the value of your property. You're going to love it. And more trees, more green, more shade. You'll hang out more in the backyard. That's what we do in our backyard. We hang out a lot more in the backyard, thanks to the design by Michael, who is the Picasso of Cutter's Edge Pro. Go check it out. Cutter's Edge Pro. Go to the Instagram page so you can check out a lot of their work. Tell them that Big O sent you. 954-472-0622. CuttersEdgePro.com. All right. Let me see. We got to go around the NFL. We got some Bills stuff to do. Yeah, got some music, got birthdays, got concerts, got a couple things to talk about. By the way, so life as a Jets fan, you got the fake spike, right? Marino was there the other day on Friday and talking with Aaron Rodgers, and so people were talking about the fake spike. You got the butt fumble, and now you got the Hail Mary. I mean, Jets fans, wow. That's a trifecta. I don't know. Which one's worse? It's got to be the butt fumble, right? Because the butt fumble is like, it's embarrassing. An ass made you fumble. The Hail Mary is terrible. And the fake spike is just, beautiful for us. And by the way, the Dolphins are part of 2 of those 3. Which is, it's pretty good. Jets fans, those 3 infamous plays against your franchise, and the Miami Dolphins own 2 of them in the Hail Mary and the fake spike. And I just want to just say that I really enjoy that the Dolphins hand that misery to the Jets. It's just one of those things that it just adds a little pep in your step in the day, adds a little smile, So Jet fans, just want to thank you. Want to thank you for the great memories, the fun memories, for us, that is. Not you guys. But out of your 3 infamous plays, the Miami Dolphins own 2 of those 3, which is a beautiful thing. Big O, we still burn too many timeouts when McD can't get the plays in time. This will cost us eventually if not corrected. Yeah, no. McDaniel's still a work in progress. Let's be honest. Okay? He's smart as hell. He's creative as hell. I don't want him going anywhere. I'm super happy with him here, but he still is not there yet. He has to grow, and he has to improve as a play caller. There's no doubt that he still does not do the right things all the time, or most of the time. Let's put it that way. He still does some stuff that's just plain stupid. Abandoning the run like he does at times is plain stupid. No other way I can put it. Seriously, no other way. Love the guy, but he's got to tweak that. All right, let's go around the NFL. By the way, the turkey games. Wow, they sucked. Thank God for the old lady's turkey, and I had some boniato throughout the day. I'm a little bit, I'm a weird bird. Okay, I will admit it. That's fine. Some of you may not want to admit it when you are. That's fine. I'll admit I'm a little bit of an odd bird. And so in Thanksgiving, one of the things that I love is something called boniato, which is sweet potato, right? It's a form of sweet potato, right? Boniato, because it's not the orange sweet potato. It's the other. Am I right? Somebody help me out that, is bilingual, Hispanic, and American, and, you can back me up here or correct me on it. But it's a form of sweet potato, if I'm correct. And so the old lady knows I rarely eat it. I only have it like once or twice a year, and it's usually New Year's and Thanksgiving because she cooks it, right? It's the only time my wife doesn't cook. And so she comes over and makes the boniato for me, right? I am right? Okay. And I love it, right? So I need to, that is one thing that I live for, dude, on Thanksgiving. That is a must for me. So that's where that kept me going through these bad football games, is having a little boniato. Because the Green Bay Lions, the Cowboys, Washington, the Niners in Seattle, God, they were terrible, dude. Terrible. I was hoping that the Green Bay Lions game would, that's the one that I had some hope for. And I know the score is deceiving, because the score that the Lions picked up at the end to make it closer, but it really wasn't. Anyway, Steelers defeat the Bengals 16-10. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 7-4. They may sneak into the playoffs. but they are no threat whatsoever with that offense. And I know they fired Matt Canada and all that. I still, although the Deontay Johnson play or lack thereof, wow, that was disturbing. Something's going on in Pittsburgh. I don't know what it is, but it's not good. But that's not a team I would fear. Titans defeat the Panthers 17-10. Bryce Young, 18 of 31, 194 yards, 3 for 23 on the ground. Derrick Henry had 3 touchdowns and 76 yards. Tennessee's 4-7. Carolina drops to 1-10. Is Carolina going to draft another quarterback? Because David Tepper is kind of a hothead. So I wonder if the guy he wanted in Bryce Young, he runs out of patience because he already fired his coach. Anyway, Giants defeat the Pats 10-7. Isn't Mac Jones better than Tua? Huh? Isn't one of those idiots in Boston, what's this fool's name? I forgot the guy's name, but wasn't he bragging that he thinks Mac Jones is better? Bailey Zappi too, by the way. I got to tell you, I am just enjoying the hell out of the demise of Belichick. And missing that field goal for the tie was the best. Oh my God, that was good. It's like a comedy that just doesn't stop. The Matt Patricia stuff and everything. I was thinking about this, right? So you're Devontae Parker. You've had an injury-riddled career. You've had to deal with mediocre quarterbacks and mediocre coaches with the Miami Dolphins, plus all your injuries. Then they trade your ass the second we get Mike McDaniel. You end up with Tua under flow, which was, and everything else that came before that. So then they trade you once we get McDaniel, and you end up with Matt Patricia and Mac Jones. And now you've got Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, and the wheels are completely coming off, and Belichick's about to get fired. And if you're Devontae Parker, it's like, yo, dude, I have no timing here. That poor guy did not get a break whatsoever. Broncos defeat the Browns 29-12. Denver's now 6-5. They've won 5 in a row. Amazing. Still don't think they're that good. Ravens defeat the Chargers 20-10. Baltimore with a league best 9-3 record. The amazing Justin Herbert, Mr. Clutch, drops to 4-7. Lamar Jackson with that little rinky-dink offense went 18 of 32, 177 yards and a touchdown, 11 rushes, 39 yards. Justin Herbert, Mr. Clutch, 29 of 44, 217, a touchdown, an interception, and 4 rushes for 47 yards. Season's pretty much over for the Chargers. I would imagine that they're going to fire the head coach, although this owner's cheap, so he'll probably wait till the end of the year to fire him. The Ravens, you just got to put up with their defense, their physicality. You just got to deal with that. If you watch the game, do you really fear that passing game? Do you really? It's a nothing passing game. It's a remedial passing game is what it is. Against Jalen Hurts, X, and Holland. Good luck. Good luck. Nice try. But I just don't see it. I'm sorry. You need to be a great quarterback, a great passer, something that Lamar Jackson never has been, never will be. It really is amazing. But yeah, so look around the NFL. Let's see. Big O, I remember my login credentials for my accounts, but I don't remember the 10-digit number, and I screwed. Am I screwed? The 10-digit number, what are we talking about? Are you talking about like for your crypto account or something? What are you talking about? I'm not sure. 10-digit number like in your phone number? Oh, for Bitcoin. Yeah, no, you are screwed. Yeah. Yes, you are. Yeah, you gotta save your keys, bro. Yeah. Save them somewhere. Chicago will blow that pick for sure. I'm interested to see what Hendon Hooker is going to do. He was a beast at Tennessee with that injury. Yeah. Yeah, he's got to get proper coaching, of course, because he's still raw, but he's got ability. There's no doubt about that. Big O, if Belichick goes to the Chargers next season, do you think they are a playoff team? No, I don't. No, I don't. At all. I think Bill Belichick is done. I think he's been exposed. And if the Chargers or anybody else wants to be stupid enough to hire Bill Belichick, then knock yourselves out, dude. Go ahead. Knock yourselves out. He can't build a staff. It's like it's an antiquated style of coaching on the offensive end. I know he's got a great defensive mind, but you're going to give him power personnel also, which he's terrible at. He's been terrible at personnel forever. The Tom Brady thing stands out more and more. He is a great defensive coordinator. He got lucky with Tom Brady. That's it. I'm sorry. I don't see anything from that guy. Nothing. At least Mike Tomlin, no matter what you give him, if it's a quarterback named Duck or this kid or whatever, he finds a way to do something with his team. That's a coach. You know what I'm saying? But the Tom Brady thing, to me, stands out more and more and more every single day that I watch that guy. Lenny Pena says, Lamar Jackson does not scare me one bit. Yeah, normally it's 12 digits for crypto. Yeah. Yeah, it's 12 words. But I don't know, again, this gentleman, I don't know what he's doing. So, dry herb vaporizing or combusting? I'm going to go dry herb vaporizing. Sounds better. I don't know what combusting is. So that'll be my guess. No idea. Brett says, I really like dry herb vaping with the right vape. There you go. See, I guessed it. Who would you give up draft capital and control to a 72-year-old coach whose only motivation is to win 18 more games before retiring? By the way, Tom Stockel, that's the best point of them all. That it's really all about chasing Shula. It's not like you really have. Well, no. Now, you know what, Tom? No. I'm going to correct you and me on this one because I was agreeing with you. But now that I think about it, no. I think he desperately needs to win without Brady now. I think this whole with Brady winning, I think it put him in a really uncomfortable situation because he hears it. He hears it that people are saying, yeah, the quarterback carried you, which is what it looks like. Okay? Sure, you were a great defensive coordinator, but the quarterback carried your offense. And you every year would fail to give him the weapons. And somehow or another, he would make chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what every time. Yeah. There will be owners stupid enough to hire Belichick just because of the name and the 6 rings. He's right. He's right. And the Chargers owner is first-class stupid to do something like that. Yeah. Big O, the salary cap goes up to 256 and then 280. and over 300 by 2026. Yeah, I don't care about that stuff. That doesn't, you pay more anyways. So you get the same amount of players. You're not getting any more. The problem I have with the media is they make it sound like it's going to be hell for them when it's not, because they actually have a really good front office and they know how to work around all that stuff. And they don't put in all the things that are going to happen to Miami. And they don't point out the great drafting, the great finding of undrafted players, the great job of finding street free agents, the great job of trading, and compensatory picks. They don't talk about any of that coming up, which those are all tools that will be at their disposal. See, the feds lie to you about they have these tools to control inflation when they really don't. But this is true. They have the tools to get it done. Okay. Big O, do you think the MetLife turf is causing these Achilles problems for these players? I have to go by the players. I don't play on the turf, but it's notorious and it's been talked about for decades. Turf is not the way to go. It's the wrong way to have player. And I don't get it. I don't understand that. You know why? You're paying millions for these players. Why would you go cheap on the turf? I don't understand that part. In soccer, FIFA requires you to have grass. So why not, in World Cup action, all that. So why not do the same thing here in the NFL? I don't get it. Dude, Stephen Ross wanted it so bad, he bought the company that grows the grass. Why doesn't the NFL do the same thing? Cut the middleman out, grow your own grass, and sell it. You can then market it better than anybody else. You'll market it every Sunday. You can have NFL grass at home. Fans will buy it up, dude. You can end up making it a money situation for the NFL. And at the same time, oh my God, you're taking care of your players. What a bonus. And then you can get Scott's or whatever to be a co-partner with you. And you're the NFL. You can turn everything into a moneymaker. I don't really understand this. It doesn't make any sense to me how you would not take care of your own players by making sure they play on grass. Makes no sense. Those are the kind of things, ladies and gentlemen, that you and I will never be able to figure out and answer. Unfortunately. Oh, by the way, we got a hell of a day today with birthdays. Holy moly. Impressive with our birthdays today. This may be one of the greatest days ever for famous birthdays. I mean, when you start to look at the trifecta that is involved in these birthdays, that, my friends, is what takes it pretty much over the top. Okay? First of all, let's start off with the great Dr. Nye. That's right. Bill Nye, the science guy, is celebrating a birthday today. How do you like them apples? Bill Nye, the science guy. He is 68 years old, but it gets better. Born on the same day as Bill Nye, the science guy, is Bruce Lee. Born on this date in 1940, died in 1973. Boy, you always came out of a Bruce Lee movie wanting to fight. It's amazing. Then, born on this date in 1942, 2 years after Bruce Lee, the Bruce Lee of guitars, Jimi Hendrix. Born in 1940, passed away in 1970. So Bill Nye the Science Guy, Bruce Lee, and Jimi Hendrix all share the same birthday. I told you, this might be the greatest day of birthdays ever. All right, let's add in a couple more. Jaleel White is 47. Shawnee O'Neal, Shaq's former wife, TV producer, she is 49 years old. James Avery, born on this date in 45. We lost him in 2013. Some rapper named Twista is 50. I don't know who the hell he is, but it's kind of a cool name. So somebody tell me out there, is that guy legit or is he just some local rapper from somewhere? And Robin Givens is 59 years old. Damn, I'm old already. I didn't realize she was 2 years older than I am. Robin Givens. Smoke show back in the day. I will say that. Total smoke show for Robin Givens. Got to call it like you see it. Back in 1970, let's go with the little music history now. Back in 1970, George Harrison released All Things Must Pass. The triple album included a number of songs that were left over from the Beatles sessions. It would go on to be certified 6 times platinum by the RIAA, making it the best-selling album by a solo Beatle. In 86, Bon Jovi had the number 1 song in the country with You Give Love a Bad Name. In 1970 on this date, Black Sabbath and Steel Mill, a band featuring Bruce Springsteen, shared a bill at the Sunshine in the Asbury Park, New Jersey area. In 81, ads ran in the British press urging music lovers to stop making copies of albums using dual cassette recorders, stating home taping is wiping out music. In 81, huh? If you only knew what was coming. In 2010, the Black Keys, Tighten Up, started a 2-week run at the top of the rock songs chart. And that, my friends, is what happened today in music history. Right. Couple of concerts coming up this week. Travis Scott is at the Kaseya Center on Wednesday. Saturday at the Black Box in Boca, you could be snorting whiskey, drinking cocaine with Pat Travers. And on Saturday, one of the best blues guitarists on the freaking planet, Joe Bonamassa, is at Hard Rock Live. So there you go. Yeah, the new Beatles song is mediocre. Yeah, I talked about it last week when it came out or the week before. I forgot, but I heard it. Nothing. There's nothing. There's a reason why that song didn't make an album. That's all. You know, it's like Coda from Led Zeppelin. It's although there were the Van Halen album that came out, forgot the name of it. It actually has a couple of songs that were pretty good, believe it or not. But that Beatles one, yeah, not good. Not good. Wow, February 27 must have been a great compilation day for all these famous birthdays today, huh? It's crazy. Let's see. Fastest rapper in the world, Daz Effect or Fushnikins were the fastest rappers. Nah. Nah. I'm going with the FedEx guy that does the disclaimers at the end of commercials. That's the fastest rapper I know. Twista's legit. Oh, he is? Thank you, Black Boy. Appreciate you. I don't know. I got to tell you right up front. I got to come from the ignorance part. I don't know. Don't know who he is, but I like the name, but I don't know who he is. So that's why. But they put so many, like, that's the problem with rap, that there are like low-level local rappers all over the country, right? And they're known, like, inside their town, they're actually known, They're not known nationwide or anywhere else, but they're kind of known, you know what I'm saying? They have their following, but it's not like big names. And there's a lot of them, dude. A lot. Because you see them there on that list. It's like TikTok and YouTube. It's a bunch of them, but not everybody knows them. It's only like a group of people that may know them. My daughter turns 29 today. She was born 2 hours before the fake spike play occurred. Very cool. The fastest, greatest rapper I heard was, Busta Rhymes. That's a good one. It's a good one. And his style, too. I like his style. Now, Twista Sista is legit. Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are. I only saw them once, man. I kind of regret that I didn't see them more back in the day. I wanted to see them again before they lost the drummer, that he passed away like on a cruise or some shit. And then they've broken up now, and now D. Snyder. And let me tell you, D. Snyder's last solo album, that shit was good, dude. I have it, and I jam it still. He did a really good job with it. I know he's kind of reached that point now. He's been at this forever. But it's almost like Twisted Sister's get up kind of stopped them from maybe getting more credit than they deserve. They deserve more credit, but because of the get up, that might have gotten in the way of people taking them seriously. And they're a good band, man. And it's kind of like one of those things that, I'm not telling you they're one of the greatest bands of all time or anything like that, but I'll say that when people talk about Twisted Sister, they only talk about one or two songs when they have way more, and they're a damn good band. So, I don't know. Just an opinion. Eminem still holds the world's record for the fastest rap verse. I had no idea. Didn't even know that existed. But it would make sense because he can rap fast. Terry Tate office linebackers 20-minute take YouTube is hilarious. Big O, favorite decade of music? God, it's so hard, man. So hard. Because I love the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and I even like the 90s too. Because I think the 90s was the last great decade of music. They're all so important in their own ways. What the 60s laid the groundwork, the 70s with punk rock, electronic music, classic rock, the beginnings of metal with Black Sabbath in the early 70s, the 80s. You had new wave, alternative type music. You had grunge towards the end of that decade. You had, what am I missing now? Rap. Rap started kind of in the late 70s, but it really blossomed in the 80s. Gangster rap kind of came in maybe early 90s, late 80s, probably early 90s. So I want to give it to the 80s. God, there were several genres of music that were created in the 80s. I'm torn, bro, because I love the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It's hard for me to just, it wouldn't be the 90s. And I love the 90s. The 90s were good. Not as good as the 80s, the 70s, and the 60s. Those decades were way better than the 90s. God. If I got to pick one, I'll go 70s. I'll go 70s because classic rock and metal and punk and electronic music and disco all born in the 70s. So that, in the 60s, you had rock, you had psychedelic rock, you had what's that called? Surf rock or whatever. Doo-wop is more from the 50s, not 60s. I'm going to go 70s. But not by much, man. The 80s are right there and the 60s are right there. But I'll slight nod to the 70s. Slight nod. But anybody that tells me 60s or 80s, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem. I think it's kind of subjective. Now, you tell me the 90s and we got a problem. Because the 90s is not even close to the 80s, 70s, and 60s. It's a great decade, but it's not close to them. And please don't even tell me about what's happened the last 20 years here. Garbage compared to any of those decades. It's not even close. I'm with you, O. It's so hard to choose one decade, but if I had to choose one, it has to be the 70s. It kickstarted everything we know today as pop, rock, metal, hip-hop to the 70s. Yeah. 70s prog rock was, that's right, Brett. Very good. Prog rock was, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, yes, all that kind of stuff was born in the 70s. Yeah. I was born in 78, although I didn't live it. To me, the greatest decade is the 60s. I don't have a problem with that. 80s for Paul, he says. Man of 1,005 Holds says Europop, jungle, drum, and bass, rave, electronic in the 90s. 90s was grunge, rock. Well, actually, grunge started in the late 80s. But, who's counting? Butch Berry, should be assistant coach of the year. He's done a great job. Industrial grunge, modern alternative, etc. Nin, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, REM, Smiths, Cure, Green Day, Tool, Metallica, etc. 86 to 94 will never be beat. But that's mostly 80s, what you're talking about there. Almost everything you're talking about there started in the 80s. Even Pearl Jam started in the 80s. It's like 89 or 88 or some shit like that for Pearl Jam. 70s for sure definitely include rap, punk, and new wave. Exactly. And electronic, because that's where Kraftwerk started. So electronic music started there also. Not just disco, but electronic. So all the EVM stuff that goes on now, right? It's EVM. Is that what it's called, right? That all that goes back to the 70s for Kraftwerk. Motown blossomed in the 70s, 60s, right? I would say 60s for Motown, right? 50s to 60s. It started back end of the 50s into the 60s and then the 70s for sure. But I would say the 60s is the main for Motown. That would be my guess. I'm primarily a 70s guy, but every era has great music except post 2010. Yeah, no, 2000 and on. 2000 and 2010 and 2010 and 2020, garbage decades for music. There's some good music in it, don't get me wrong, but no, not even close, dude. The birth of all kinds of music happened in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and some in the 90s. In the 2000s, they don't own anything. They don't have one genre of music, dude, pretty much. Do they? What genre of music started in the 2000s? It's not electronic. I don't know what it would be. Because electronic started in the 70s. House started in the 80s. Freestyle, by the way, also 80s. What are the 90s? Reggaeton started in the 80s. Like, what do they have in the 2000s? Like, they don't have anything, do they? No, boy bands have been going on since Menudo, bro. So that's, Menudo and New Edition and Jackson 5, boy bands have been going on forever. So that they didn't start boy bands. EDM is a form of electronic music from the 70s. Okay? EDM is not original. Okay? None of these DJs are original. Jelly Bean Benitez was mixing and making hit music before any of these DJs. None of that Jelly Bean Benitez, by the way, is the original. I know we could go back and go to the Disco Duck guy, but that's a parody song. That's just that's bullshit song. But Jelly Bean Benitez with Sidewalk Talk and the Mexican and all that, and he is the original DJ that then also crossed over. And so all that started in the 80s. There's nothing. EMO was 2000. That's electronic music. Reggaeton was the 80s. Alexis, reggaeton is the 80s, not 2000s. The 80s is where reggaeton started. No, they don't have anything. That's the thing. It's mumble rap. Jose, you got it. That's the only garbage that they have nowadays, mumble rap. That's it. They don't own anything in 2000s. Nothing. There's no rock, no metal, no thrash metal, no psychedelic rock, no disco, no freestyle, no electronic music, no grunge, no R&B, no bluegrass, no classic, no nothing. Nothing. The 2000s mean nothing. They have zero identity. Whereas the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, they all have rich identities of what happened in those decades. Now that I think about it, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. By the way, I got to tell you that I am enjoying the Bills' implosion. You got them pushing fans on the sidelines. By the way, what's up with those idiots? They actually walked over to the fans on the sidelines. I don't know how that made any sense for them. Where did they think that was going to be a good idea? And Josh Allen is now 0-6 in overtime games. Not only that, but Josh Allen is also making some history. I don't know if you guys know this. Besides 0-6 in overtime, Buffalo became the first team since the NFL-AFL merger in 1970 to lose a game after recording 500 total yards and 10 or more third down conversions while winning the turnover battle. By the way, before this happened, teams were 39-0. when they had all those advantages. But the Bills now made it 39-1. And Josh Allen, of course, 0-6 in overtime games. Get Josh Allen to overtime, and he'll make it Christmas and give it away to you. That's what he's going to do. Oh, baby, you got to love that. I am loving the implosion of the Bills. By the way, Top Gun indoor range, man. Great people over there. I'm telling you, folks, family atmosphere. They've got the latest in air quality and targeting systems. It's not like this little, clothespin and the things floating back there. And no, man. The target back there is placed, and it's actually set straight. It's not going to be swinging or waving or anything like that. I mean, everything is done in a professional manner over there, folks. They've been around for over 4 years now. They're the only public archery indoor facility in Dade County. They've got mini leagues and mini tournaments on weekends. The gun range has 18 lanes, 25 yards, which, of course, is the longest distance for an indoor range in Dade County, folks. And here's the best part, okay? We got to watch out for the ladies. They've got self-defense classes for the women. They've got it in English and Spanish. They've got basic pistol, concealed weapons courses. And, of course, they've got tactical nights with competitions. They use bowling pins and other targets. It's really cool. And you can get a membership, too, all right? The better the membership, well, the higher discounts you're going to get, from gun cleaning to even unlimited shooting. So go check out Top Gun Indoor Range. Tell them that Big O sent you. Gun sales, they've got a wide selection. And yes, Glock, 6 Hour, Smith & Wesson, the top dogs, they've got them there for you. Check it out. Easy to get to right off the turnpike. 305-306-7333. That's 305-306-7333, 12015 Southwest 114th Place. It's right, there's a little strip shopping center right when you get off. That's where the Odyssey Arcade is. I go there with my wife all the time. They do a great job, by the way, if you want to enjoy Odyssey. They got a free plug and everything. Top Gun is right behind, okay? And you can enjoy the indoor range there. Top Gun Indoor Range. All right. We'll be doing a show there shortly. So you can come on out and join us. We'll be doing once a month there. All right. Eric says 91 Metallica Black Album, Nirvana Nevermind, Pearl Jam 10, several great albums that year that launched a new era of modern alternative rock. You know it. You know it. You know it. So there you go. What else do we have going on? That's it. I think that's it. I think that's all we got. Let's see. What do we have here? Diggs going to want out of there. Well, he's already getting to an age where, the thing is that not a lot of places are going to be able to take Diggs. He's already whined his way out of one place. And if he's going to whine his way out of here, there aren't a lot of places that are going to tolerate him. It's going to be really hard to move him because of the salary and what they're going to want in return. And he's at the back end of his career. May have another year or two of elite, and then it's going to fall right off the map. Let's see. Big O Tony Romo calls the games like Josh Allen is a bro. It's embarrassing how pathetic Tony Romo is with Josh Allen broadcasts. Yesterday, I wanted to get a Bills cheerleader outfit and give it to Tony. Jesus Christ, dude. Are you serious? The biggest cheerleader I've ever seen for Josh Allen is that guy. And you know what? It kind of goes, Josh chokes in overtime games. I think we now see the connection. Tony has a kinship to choking. So it's like, dude, you're a choker. I'm a choker. We're all a choker. Wouldn't you like to be a choker too? Be a choker. So this is what's going on. Tony gravitates to other chokers. It's what chokers do. Now we figured it out. See, I'm glad you brought it up because talking about it allows your mind to start flowing and then starting to think of what could be, what really is happening here. Why is he such a cheerleader? He's 0 for 6 in overtime games. That is something that Tony Romo can relate to. He knows exactly what it's like falling short and disappointing his fan base. He knows exactly what it's like not to play well in a big moment. And losing in overtime? Oh, come on. Tony Romo's got to know a lot about that. There it is. It's the choke bond. I mean, I think it's bad that you and I are trying to separate these two. They should move in together. They should both wear Skechers. The Choke Boys. That's it. Josh Choker. Calling the game today, Tony Choker. I mean, he is a choker anyways. By the way, he has become the Jim Cramer of football. Remember, he used to say all the stuff that actually used to happen. Now, everything he says, it's actually opposite. Exactly like Jim Cramer. Just like that. Whatever Jim Cramer tells you to not invest in, make sure you put your entire life savings into it. Because for sure it's going to go gold. It's going to moonshot. And whenever he tells you go all in on this, sell everything. Get the hell out. Tony Romo is now the Jim Cramer of football analysis. He's gone from a pleasure to listen to I don't want to know anything about it. Let's see. Oh, come on, Big O. Romo choked before overtime. Big O, more and more I find myself being a Tua believer. Good for you. However, Big O, I struggle defending him when my friends point out he never beats great teams, San Francisco Bills. That's a Dolphins thing, not just a Tua thing. You know what I mean? Tua did win a national championship coming off the bench. So, you know what I mean? And it's how do you look at the Ravens game then? That's not a good team? Because they're a good team. I don't think they're the scariest offensive bunch, but man, people seem to love the Ravens so much. So when he comes back on them down 21, that's not something that's important. And in the end, did Tua not make the throw to Tyreek Hill in that bomb, which would have been points? Is it Tua's fault that Tyreek drops it? Is it Tua's fault that Tyreek ended up fumbling and giving 7 points to Kansas City, which was the difference in the game? I mean, blame it on Tua. What I would tell you is your friends are idiots and they don't know football. That's what I would tell you. Because I don't think it's a Tua thing. I'll go back to the first 2 years when I said it wasn't a Tua thing. It's a flow and coaching thing. Well, I'm going to go back here now. I'm going to say this is not just a Tua thing. This is everybody. Because I've seen Tua make those plays, and then the other guys aren't making the plays. So how am I going to blame Tua for a Tyreek Hill drop? Last year against the Bills, Sherfield and Tyreek dropped touchdowns. How is that Tua's fault? Braylon Sanders stopped his route. Tua threw a perfect bomb for him to catch it. How is that Tua's fault? You're averaging 7 yards a carry. You stop running the ball. How is that Tua's fault? I get it. Your friends probably didn't believe in Tua in the first place. So they are the typical Tua hater nowadays. I was wrong, but let me see if I can find something to back my case up. And that's what they're doing. They're dying to find anything to justify why they were wrong. But they're trying to be right. But let's blame Tua. Because it's Tua's fault. Everything is Tua's fault. Oh, man. Lions are a good team. He beat as well. Didn't Tua also lead Sanders in stride last year in Buffalo? Yep. Well, no, he didn't drop it. He stopped the route. He was supposed to keep going. You know what I mean? But in the Kansas City game, let's be honest. Tyreek Hill lost that game all by his lonesome. All by himself, he lost that game. To blame it on Tua, Tua made the pass. There's only a couple plays to be made in that game, and he made it. He made the play. I can't help you if Tyreek drops it, like he did this past week. By the way, props to Tyreek. He came out and talked about his wife. And you know, I love it. He was stand-up about it. He goes, man, come on. I got hot for a minute on the guy, but it wasn't his fault. She knocked it down. And he, you know, because some of you, you're such fans that you wanted to find a way to blame the guy and get mad at him because it's Tyreek and that's his girl and all that. And so it's a Dolphin. And anything against the Dolphin, let me go against whoever hurt the Dolphin. And that poor guy didn't want to spill the nachos on her. One guy on Twitter was like, well, he's jumping up. And no, dude, go look at the video. Now you're inventing shit. The guy just stood up calmly because he knew he had nachos and a beer in his hand. And then she lifted up and she ends up knocking the nachos on herself. You know? So I love how Tyreek handled it. I love how she handled it. I feel terrible for the guy. He lost his nachos. Then he was in a brutally uncomfortable position. She's got some cheese on there. And he wants to kind of wipe it off, but you don't want to touch her either because then you don't want to make it worse because you think you're trying to help, but you're really, you know if you're crossing, this is the weirdest world nowadays. You know, I told you the other day somebody dropped something and I didn't want to touch, I think it was glasses. And I kind of had to like, hey, your glasses, and kind of like make sure nobody crossed and make sure she can get her glasses. But I didn't want to touch her glasses, which 3 years ago, pre-pandemic, we'll grab anything that somebody drops and hand it to them. Now you can't. World's changed. By the way, I run into this a lot, and I want to first tell all of you out there that on behalf of Sean and myself, we really appreciate you guys listening, tuning in, watching the show whenever you watch it at your discretion and all that. And we thank you for that. Or if you're watching live, thank you all out there. I know a lot of you, okay, maybe most of you actually, no, not maybe, guaranteed most of you just watch segments, whatever segments Sean puts out. And he usually just puts out mostly interviews, some rants, but not a ton, right? Not like what we do in audio. That in audio, we splice it up a lot more. We don't do that nearly as much. But some of you out there, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's all good. If you only like listening to Ira Winderman's interview, that's all you listen to, then that's great. And if you only like listening to Joe Shad's interview, that's fantastic. Or maybe you just listen to interviews. But what I would like for a lot of you out there at times is stop assuming what is said on the show just because you heard a segment. If you don't actually listen to the show, you're going to miss a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff we say, a lot of stuff we opine on. Like yesterday, some guy got on me because I was making fun of Josh Allen and the interceptions, right? And he goes to me, well, you can't be rough on Josh Allen when our guy, too, has been throwing interceptions. And I'm like, yo, dude, do you listen to my show? Oh, yeah, I do. Well, then what are you talking about? Because clearly you don't. You might listen to a segment or something, but if you listen to the show, the pregame show, whatever, for the last couple of weeks, I've been pointing out that Tua is having too many turnovers. It's not just interceptions, it's also fumbles. And he's got to stop that shit. So, it's like, yeah, I could talk about Josh Allen, but I do talk about Tua, dude. So you don't listen to the show. You might listen to a set. He goes, no, I do listen. Well, no, you don't. Because a lot of you out there, if you listen to a segment or two, or whatever, and I appreciate it, or if you listen to one rant or something that Sean put up, fine, you watched it or whatever, that doesn't mean you really know what went on the show. Because we talk about a lot of stuff that happens Dolphin-wise, Dolphin history, Heat, Marlins, Panthers, Inter, whatever, life, crypto, you name it. We talk about a lot of stuff in between. And if you really don't listen to the show, you will actually miss a lot. But don't assume that something wasn't talked about, because there's a good chance it has been talked about. You just didn't take the time to listen to the show. And that's cool. I don't have a problem with it. What I have a problem with is assuming when you really shouldn't and when you don't have all the information. That's all. So for some of you out there, I get it. You listen to a segment, that's fine, but you miss out on a lot of stuff that we talk about in between. Hear me out, Tua's mediocre. He's never won a Tuesday night game during a full moon while Mercury was in retrograde. Yeah, he sucks. If he doesn't do that, then I think we should cut Tua right now because he hasn't done that. It's a good point on your part there, Gordon. Definitely. Tom Brady is going to be amazing at calling games next year. I bet he calls every blitz. Okay, for a while, and then he'll run out of material because coaches will change. That's what will happen. By the way, I see people are going off on Tom Brady's whole the NFL is mediocre thing. I love that, and I laugh at that. Well, one, because if you listen to this show, hey, Sean, how many times have I said that the back-end playoff teams in the NFL don't deserve to be in the playoffs? Don't I talk about that all the time? All the time. The NFL has been mediocre for a long time. And Tom Brady was a part of that mediocre league. Okay? Whether it's the division he played in, whether it's the AFC South or whatever, there's a lot of mediocre football being played. My Lord, there's only like 12 or 14 quarterbacks in the entire world. And there might be like 7 or 8 real franchise guys. And you have 32 teams. So, of course, there's a lot of mediocre play. Mediocre teams make the playoffs. They've been making the playoffs for years. On this program, I talk about it all the time. Every time we get to the playoffs, including our Dolphins, I talk about these back-end playoff teams, including our Dolphins, that don't deserve to be in the playoffs. That's why they get spanked in the first round and sent home, like our Dolphins. because they don't deserve to be in the playoffs. But it's all a money grab. That's why they're allowing 7 teams in there. Do 7 teams really belong in the playoffs? Probably 4 in each conference. You're already pushing it at 5. 6 and 7, I can guarantee you 6 and 7 have zero business being in the playoffs nowadays. So I laugh when I hear Tom Brady say that the NFL is mediocre. The NFL has been mediocre for a long time. It's called parity. It's kind of the way they want it. He's not breaking any news. He's not enlightening anybody. And he's not acting like the old man on the lawn. The NFL has been mediocre for a long time. We just tolerate it and put up with it. That's all. Because the league is Teflon. Gets away with anything it wants. Tom Brady benefited from playing in a mediocre division. That's right. That's right. Now, you still got to win in the playoffs. So, to me, they used to say it about Andrew Luck, and I used to tell everybody, he's winning the playoffs, bro. He's going deeper every year in the playoffs. The first year, he made it to the first round. The second year, he made it to the second round. The third year, he made it into the third round, which was the AFC Championship game. You still got to win the playoffs. So I don't care what happens in the regular season. There's only a few in the playoffs, and you got to beat those. And Tom Brady would do that constantly. So I don't have a problem. But the league overall, the NFL, has been mediocre for a long time. That's not new. Tom Brady wasn't wrong. We had teams like 8 and 9 Bucks, 7 and 9 Commanders making the playoffs, hosting a divisional round. Exactly. I can't stand watching these QBs crying to the refs after each hit. Most of today's quarterbacks would not make it in yesterday's NFL. Josh Allen always does that crap. Glad he got horse collared. Zachary says it's too much money involved now in the NFL. Players get paid, then stop playing hard. We are in a season that will see the likes of Pittsburgh, Houston, Cleveland, Atlanta, and Seattle make the playoffs. Yep. Best decade of football. That's a good one. Maybe 80s. 80s, maybe. 90s were really good. Right around there. For us personally, the 70s. Oh, man. Let's see. Because of Tom Brady is why rules are protecting QBs exist. We protect stars in the NBA. We protect stars, period. It's kind of what we do in American sports. We're all guilty of that in every sport, my brother. Because without stars, the game dies. So you've got to protect the stars. That's just the way it is. You can't allow a free-for-all on your stars. That just doesn't fly, It's not the right thing to do. By the way, Baptist Health of South Florida, folks, the Alzagari family is a strong believer in Baptist Health, the official sports medicine provider for the Miami Heat, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, FIU, FAU, Orange Bowl, Miami-Dade County Public Schools, Miami Open Tennis, Miami Marathon, and half marathons. And folks, Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has locations from Monroe County all the way to Palm Beach County and down in Monroe. We've got Fisherman's Community at Marathon Key, Mariners Hospital at Tavernier Key, all the way up to Boynton Beach with Bethesda East and West, 2 different locations. And, of course, in between, all kinds of great hospitals in South Miami, in Homestead, you name it, we've got it, baby. And, of course, in Kendall, where I've been to many times, the wife and the daughter. In fact, the wife was just there with some bleeding ulcers at Baptist Health. So if you have an injury that's keeping you from doing what you love, take charge of your health and get back into the game with the help of the all-pro staff at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Please use that QR code you're seeing there in the screen, or go to baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information. The sport is evolving in a good way overall. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's football. I'm not. No, I can't say that it's better. I don't think the game is. The game is safer is not better, unfortunately. They have to do it this way. I understand that part. But is it a better game and better viewing? No, it's not. I'm going to disagree with you on that one. Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to disagree on that one. Big O, what's the greatest team you've seen in your lifetime? I'm a little younger, but for me, it's the 89 49ers. I saw them. That might be one of them. I mean, I didn't get to, I saw the Lakers, but the 80s Lakers and the 80s Celtics, I would go with the 80s Lakers, but I didn't see them live. Is your question live? Let's see. No, in your lifetime. Jesus. Those Yankee teams. Those Jeter teams with Posada and Bernie Williams and all that. They were loaded. The Cowboy teams of the mid-90s. The Niners of the 80s. The Lakers of the 80s. Man, that's hard. That's really, really, really hard. I'm going to go Lakers of the 80s because it was like a decade long. They won 4 or 5, I think it was. They dominated a long period of time. Like I can go with the Cowboys because for, 4-year stretch, whatever it was, it may have been one of the more dominant performances ever. But this was like 10 years of the Lakers being just an absolute monster. And they won several titles. The Yankees also won several titles, although in that process, they did weed in and out some players. The core was there mostly. They would be really, really close. And then those Niner teams that won a couple championships also. But I'm gonna give a slight lean to the Lakers because they had a force opposite of them in Boston that was, the Cowboys didn't really have an equal in the mid-90s, right? The Niners had to deal a little bit with the Cowboys. I remember that, but that was more in the 90s, not in the 80s. Yankees, they didn't really have a contemporary. Different people challenged them, but it wasn't like Boston challenging the Lakers. No, I'm going to go Lakers. I'm going to go slight lean to the Lakers in the 80s. That was a great team. Great team. Greatest team to me were the Jimmy Johnson Cowboys, Aikman, Irving. I don't have a problem with that. Lakers won during a time of Dr. J, Sixers, and Bird Celtics. Exactly. And Rockets, by the way. Okay. The Rockets had a pretty good team also with Olajuwon, and then they had Sampson early on, but Clyde Drexler and all that kind of stuff. The Clyde Drexler stuff came after in the 90s. They didn't come in the 80s. Yeah, no, dude. No, I'm going to go Lakers. They had to go through a gauntlet in those days. Big O finally loving the Lakers. Well, I don't love the Lakers. I'm just saying I'm giving props to what deserves props. And that run for the Lakers, 10-year run, it's amazing, man. Got to give them love. Greatest team in all of sports were the women's Huskies college basketball teams. No. No college team can ever be that because there's too much turnover. You know what I mean? I get it that they won all kinds of titles, but it wasn't the same women winning all the titles. You know, the women all won their titles within their, 3-4 year window. That's what it was. So no, I can't put any college team, not even UCLA, am I putting there? No. Pro teams are completely different. I'm 35, and I think the best team I've witnessed had to be Jordan and the Bulls my entire childhood. Yeah. In your lifetime, it has to be the Bulls, for sure. Yes, that would make sense. All right, we are out of here. We thank Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And I believe Ho Yoon sent something in because I just saw it. Ho Yoon, thank you, sir. Happy Monday. I appreciate you. Make sure I give you love before leaving because I did see it. And remember, whenever you're watching the show or downloading, you can send in a Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. I appreciate all of you out there. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.